stutter, I'm an inspiration. If you don't, I'm just kind of an angry bitch. And I've been kind of an angry bitch this week. And that's why this PSI, I kind of joined it at the last minute. And usually when I talk about very personal things, it's because I vetted them through therapy. And, yeah, and unlike many comics who use open mics for their therapy, I try to vent it more in therapy first and then come out with it. So I have not been to therapy in over a week. So if the emotions couldn't come out, I'm just warning you now. So if I run out of here, that's why. And the reason why it's been such an emotional week is that I came back from the National Stuttering Association conference on Sunday of last week. And that was about 4 or 5 days where it was 850 people who stuttered, and there were workshops, and we were out until 2 in the morning and talking in the lobby until 5. And it's the most incredible time that you can have. And people got up in front of 500 people and talked, and many people had a difficult time saying their own name, and they got a standing round of applause. So when you come back from something like this, it's kind of a letdown. It is, especially one of the things that had happened there was one of my friends was like, okay, I came here from New York, and the conference was in Texas, and he said, I came here wanting to see you do stand-up. And I'm all, okay, well, I tried to get booked, but I said cunt in a video that I sent to one of the club owners around there. And the club owner wrote back saying, well, I couldn't get past cunt, so you're not going to be on my show. I said, well, I have the possibility of bringing 500 people, and you will still know. And so I kind of gave up on the idea, but my friend Sasha from New York said, no, I really want to see you, and there's others here too that also will want to see you. So we went to every divey bar we could possibly find, and when we walked into this one, I could smell the potential. Smoky, stink, it was just gross. And they said, sure. And I had a show on Friday night. It was about a week and a half ago. And the opener was Jody Fuller. There's 3 of us in the U.S. who are stuttering stand-up comics, and Jody is one of those guys, and he agreed to do some stand-up. And then we had one of the friends that is involved in lots of stuttering things introduced me. So it was this amazing night. And first of all, I'm a horrible bringer. And in comedy, it's really important that you bring people, and I'm awful at that. And in part because I have friends and family who've been doing comedy for almost two years. And I have very, very close friends and family who haven't come to see me yet. So that always brings up lots of feelings when I have a show that I have to bring people to. So for this show, I was a little bit afraid. I thought, I told the guy, I said, I think I could probably bring 20 And I thought about it that black comics get to do comedy in front of black audiences, and gay comics get to do comedy in front of gay audiences. I never had that privilege. If there were 2 or 3 in the audience, I felt blessed. But to have had this opportunity was just an incredible thing. And what it did for me too was it opened up, every time that you go to the conference, if you stutter, there are little seeds that you bring back, because it's such a nurturing environment, and it's one that you don't get anywhere else. It's like a week-long of validation where you can say your name and no one interrupts you, where you can talk and no one finishes your sentences, and it's a shared experience in a shared culture that is not validated anywhere else. So when you're there, there are seeds that you bring home with you. And for the first time that I was there, 3 years ago, I brought seeds home, but I realized that I lived in a life that they weren't going to grow. And I realized that aside from my parents, there was a number of people that I was really pissed off at. And that in order for any of these seeds to start to grow, that I needed to overhaul all of this soil, and so I did. And I changed a lot of things in my life. And that same year was when I started to do stand-up. And part of it was that first conference. I was like, I saw what a utopia was. I saw what it's like where everybody is educated about stuttering, and where there's a sense of self-acceptance. And I thought, okay, I'm going to bring some of that home. And it seems that every conference you bring home seeds, and some of those grow, and some of them not. And I was thinking about the seeds that grew, or that I'm bringing with this time, and there seem to be 2. One of which is, it's my parents are great. They are wonderful people, and they're here, so I really want to overemphasize that. But there has been some dysfunction in my extended family, and my grandfather specifically was an asshole, and he inserted that assholeness in many aspects of our lives, and almost prevented me in a way from having a relationship with different members of the family. And so there was a sense of brotherhood and sisterhood and cousinhood and auntiehood and unclehood that I had the impulse for, but I didn't have the avenue for. And what I noticed at this last conference was, and I think it was in part exposing myself as a stand-up comic, which was the first time I had done that at the conference, and being and engaging in a way that I was able to connect with people in this way. And it was the first time that I hugged and I kissed and I said that I loved you, and I wasn't being made to by my mom. So very genuine. And so what I'm bringing with me is that sense of family, which I've always had and I've always valued, but I haven't always been able to really explore that and have that in my life. And then the other thing that I have is I started a relationship it's this past year, but instead, I realized that it was more because they thought that they didn't want anyone to know that they had a defective girlfriend. And so I've been really wondering how this new relationship is going to take form. And that is something that I really have reflected on there. And you know, we were up until 4 in the morning talking about it one night with all my friends who had stuttered. And what we had talked about is someone that stutters isn't going to understand, that they will never understand what that experience is. So I thought, okay, well, where does that leave this? And what I really, and so I wasn't actually sure until a couple days back when me and my new boyfriend were having dinner, and it was a circle, you know, like a table, and there was a stranger there who knew I stuttered. And when you stutter, people think they can say things that are very inappropriate, and it's very strange. And this guy specifically said, yeah, isn't there some type of invasive brain surgery kind of thing that you have done? Like, you know, they have it for Parkinson's. So can't they do something with the brain there? And I was in my education mode instead of my fuck you mode. And so I said, well, you know, I don't really think that the risks would outweigh any of the benefits. And you know, and I did really want to be the Rosemary Kennedy of stuttering, and have lobotomy to stop a moderate stutter. And after we had left, it's my boyfriend said, you know, during that interaction, all I wanted to do was take my fork and catapult food onto the guy and just start and like I was like, this is exactly what I want. I don't need anyone to fight my battles, but I need to be seen, and I need to be validated. And if food needs to be thrown, that's fine too. And I just really want to thank all of you, because I haven't been up on stage since I bombed at the Punchline on Sunday.